waiting for K Gib. Hang on one second. There he
What's up?
is. Boom. Kyle Gibson in the flesh. How are you, dude?
Dude, I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I guess I'll give you I'll give everyone the full introduction. Because you know me, Gibby. I can't not. Starting pitcher for the Texas Rangers. Signed up for Instagram just to do this interview. Which tells you again what kind of guy he is. Follow him at KGib44 on Instagram. He's awesome. You might
You're-
be you'll
you're
be
actually
within get in on the ground floor on this guy. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him.
You're actually gonna plug my Instagram account when I haven't posted a single
He
thing.
hasn't posted a
How
single
do you even know
photo.
it's gonna be a good follow?
But trust me, when he posts that first photo, you're gonna want to be there for it. You're gonna
Oh,
want to.
my.
You can say that you liked his first photo on Instagram. That'll be good baseball trivia down. You can also follow him on Twitter. There's about 25,000 people that follow him on Twitter at KGib44 also. Oh, and this is also my favorite fact about Kyle Gibson. Overcame E. coli not once, but multiple times in his career. And he's still in the bigs, pitching as a starting pitcher for the
man.
Texas Rangers. Kyle, dude, how are you, man?
I'm doing great, Austin. How are you, man?
I'm doing great. All right, I'm not going to butter you up anymore. I'm going to just get down to the nitty gritty. I'm going to come out with the heavy hitting questions right away.
Sounds good.
Obviously, Blake Snell made headlines the other day by basically saying he refused to play for a reduced salary. So Gibby, can you give me just some sort of juicy quote just so we can kind of make headlines here? Like about how much you hate the owners or how much you like screw this. I'm putting my family's lives on the line if we play. Just give me something that we can work with.
I don't have too many juicy quotes like that.
Damn it! Come on, Gibby.
Honestly, man, I think there's just a lot of overreaction right now from when it comes to each single proposal. And I just kind of wish everybody would calm down, and we'll see what the end of the week holds. I mean, we got a long back and forth, I feel like, and it's all going to get worked out, I think. I mean, I'm a pretty optimistic person in general, but owners want to play. They want to have baseball on TV. Players want to play. We want to give the fans something to watch at nighttime and something to do. And once we figure out the health and safety stuff and how the owners want us to stay healthy so we can actually play. And once we figure out, how economically it's going to look with no fans in the stands, then I think we'll be able to figure it out.
Okay, that's not good. I'm not going to make any headlines with that quote. I mean, I appreciate it. Thank you for answering the question, but that's not.
I'm not here to make headlines, man. I think that's part of the problem, right? Like everybody's trying to make headlines, and
everyone is,
and we're reacting to something before it's even done. I mean, I think if it was a done deal that we were, taking a 85 to 95% pay cut to play, and it was going to drastically impact a lot of the rookies and make a huge difference in their careers, and I think maybe it's something to be frustrated about, but I don't think we're in that situation yet, and I think we're going to get something worked out that's going to be beneficial for everyone.
If the Rangers were like, hey, we're going to play, but we need you to take a pay cut to do so, would you do it?
Well, see, that's the thing. It just all depends on how you frame the pay cut, basically. Because when you sign a 1-year deal for that pay. So, or a 2 or 3, or a 10-year deal, whoever gets the 10-year deals anymore. But I mean, so that's kind of the argument is, okay, well, yeah, we didn't have a stipulation of if you play 162 games, you get that salary. Or if you get hurt, you don't get that salary. That's kind of all part of it. Now, this is a different situation. So I think that's why players are willing to start with the prorate salary. And if we need to make changes, then we can make changes. But I think it's going to need to involve everybody working together and everybody, both sides being honest with one another with how this is going to get done.
All right. So I guess now the question is, when is it going to, when's baseball coming back? I feel like you're kind of on the inside.
I mean, I think what
do you know?
Here's my thought is that when a month ago, whenever this June 10th date was floated out, without telling the players, the hope was that, okay, we're going to float this date out so that players expect it to be June 10th so that everybody's ready, right? You can't tell people it's going to be June 10th when it's June 5th and you agree to a date. That ain't really going to work. So they floated the June 10th out to give people time to make sure they're physically ready and to get the talks going with the MLB PA. So I really do think if a deal gets done, then it'll be June 10th for spring training. I really do. There's no reason why they floated that out there if that's not the case. And I really do think they would love to start around July 1st or July 4th. What better date to start than America's holiday to go throw some meat on the grill at your house and go watch some baseball 24/7. If we don't have a game starting every hour on the hour, what are we doing? Like, who's playing the midnight game is what I'm saying. Let's kick it off with a midnight game on July 4th. But I mean, I really do think that's going to be the timeline, and I don't think we need to have a deadline. I mean, if we're serious about getting in 80 games, if we start July 15th and play some doubleheaders, and we can start July 15th and play some doubleheaders. So I think it needs to be everybody with an open mind trying to figure this out and just having a good, honest discourse with one another.
If opening day took place on July 4th and they lined you guys out on the foul lines for the national anthem, would you cry? Like, would a little tear stream down your face as the national anthem is being played?
Oh man, I don't know. I'm not really sure about that. I'll give you a maybe. Is that really what you want to hear? A maybe.
Yeah, no, that works. That would maybe get us the headlines we're looking for. Kyle Gibson says he will cry on. He maybe will cry on July 4th opening day.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: let's say they do baseball all in one city, or like maybe like a couple of cities. If you had one stadium to play all Major League Baseball games in, what stadium would you want to play in? Probably like the best pitcher's park in there.
Yeah, let's see. What's the biggest park out there?
The Polo Grounds? Can we reconstruct the Polo Grounds?
Oh, man. No, that was way too short down the line. So I don't want to know. We're not playing Polo Grounds.
True.
Not with all these pole hitters just hitting hook
but it was
shots
like
around the foul pole.
550 to dead center.
Nobody goes up the middle anymore. There's no homers in dead center unless you're, Joey Gallo or something like that. Then he hits.
Oh, nice.
Everywhere.
New teammate. There you go.
Teammate, got to drop the new teammates in there. I think for selfish reasons, it would be one of two places. St. Louis, which is not too far away from where I'm sitting right now. That'd be cool. Or Dallas, where we're going to have a house already as well. So one of those two places would be ideal.
Have you seen the new stadium down there? Have you gotten a chance to tour it and everything?
Not when it's been done, but I saw it, I want to say it was end of January, sometime around there. And it looked really cool, man. I've seen some of the photos. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be really sweet.
How's the clubhouse?
It's the biggest clubhouse / player area ever created.
Everything's bigger in Texas. They're not lying when they said that.
No, I mean, it's literally from the on deck circle on the first base side, almost down to the right field foul pole underneath the stands.
Stop.
It's like an acre big or something. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
How big's your locker?
Oh no, the lockers are normal. They added in just some modern stuff, right? Sports science lab to put some cameras in to check your delivery and stuff. They added in, a couple different food areas for people, a couple different player lounges. You got to have the video game area now. So we got the video game room or, the lounge area. So, and then they just have offices for all the staff that we have now. So, we get the people like the sports psychologist gets their own office and it's, updating that area to make sure everybody has their own space to be in.
Will the meat be properly cooked just so players don't get E. coli?
Yeah, I'm really trying to avoid that again. So, I don't really even eat out anymore. So, I only cook the steak myself to a nice, well done temperature.
Do you know where in the rotation you'll be slated? Like, is that like something that's known going into, obviously going into the season, but like right now, do you know, like, I'm going to be the number 3 guy, number 4 guy, I'm going to be the ace? Let's be honest, Corey Kluber's on the staff. Like,
I have some feeling that I'll be somewhere after Lance Lynn, who finished 8th in the Cy Young, Mike Minor, who finished 10th in the Cy Young, and Corey Kluber. So I'll slot in somewhere after.
So 4 or 5.
Those 3 guys, I think. Jordan Lyles and I were looking at ourselves in spring training like, all right, well, I mean, I guess we'll be the 4 or 5.
I will say, yeah. So you're like, would you say you're the, I guess like you're like the Ringo Starr of the Beatles right now, or maybe
Sure.
the George Harrison.
Sure.
Like you're part of the Beatles. That's awesome. Like you're part of an amazing pitching staff.
Yep. I'm part of the team.
Are you excited? Are you excited for the AL West? Because let's be honest. Look, you came from the Twins. The AL Central, no disrespect, but it's the AL Central. Now it's like the AL West. You've got, I mean, you're going up a freaking murderer's row lineup with the Angels. You've got the defending Asterisk World Series title winners, or 2 years ago, 2 years removed in the Astros. You've got the Mariners, which are always tough. Like, are you a little more? Are you a little more nervous going up against the AL West?
I was nervous, and then they realigned it and put me right back in the AL Central with everybody else. Like
Say what?
Are apparently going to realign the divisions
to
make sure we don't travel a whole lot. So now I'm going to play the same teams again. The whole goal was to try to get away from those teams, and now I'm just going to be right back with them.
So is that official?
Apparently,
apparently,
I have no idea. I don't know. You probably know more than I do, but from what I've seen, to limit some travel, their hope is to realign some of the teams and to make sure that you can stay not closer to home, but not be making all the cross-country travels and to expose yourself to different cities. So I would guess that the hope is to try to get teams, in the same division and work with that. But that's probably also down the road and whatever MLB wants to do. But that was the last one that I saw was, they're going to do 3 divisions, but do it more by region instead of NL and AL.
Well, look, maybe this is how we move you up the rotation. You and Kluber, you're familiar with the AL Central. You guys could, maybe that's the 1-2 punch right there. You put you stack the deck with you guys at the top, and then like the Lance Lynn's and those guys who aren't familiar with the the Royals and the White Sox and all of those teams, and they get a little bit further down the list.
I mean, I know you really well, so I'll go ahead and say this. Lance Lynn played in the AL Central with the Twins, and Mike Minor played on the Royals.
I forgot about Lance Lynn with the Twins.
Know the Central really well.
All right, fine. I'm just looking out for you, dude. I'm trying to get you. You know me, like I've always got. Look, I got you on Instagram. Look, I mean, that's the main reason we're doing this is to get you some Instagram followers.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
I will ask you this though: when you do face the Astros and you're on the bump, what will you do if you hear someone banging on a trash can?
Well, I mean, I threw. I'm going to digress a little bit. I threw a sim game the other day against some Legion kids here in town. And there were obviously no fans in the stands because it's just a sim game and nobody knew what was happening. And I could literally hear each of their teammates yelling at one another after like a ball in play or a swing and miss. So one, we would hear the trash can very loud because there's no fans in the stands. So there'd be no hiding it. And I would probably just look over in disbelief, honestly. And I would hope they would do it as a joke to crack fun at themselves. And then everybody would have a laugh and we would never hear it again.
Yeah, if there's one thing we've learned from the Astros and their apology tour, they're very self-aware and definitely do not feel very bad about what they did.
I mean, I think I will say, if there's no fans in the stands, you might as well mic guys up because it's going to be hilarious. Hilarious, because some of the things that actually get said in the dugout toward other players will be heard by everyone. We normally say it in hopes that people don't hear it, and now the other team will hear everything.
Would you be okay being mic'd up, like playing? If you're on a day you're starting, would you be okay being mic'd up?
That would be an interesting one. Possibly, but only if they cut when I'm not on the mound.
Okay.
Possibly.
You'd be fun not on the mound.
And then after every inning, if I give up a run, I'd rather not talk to anyone on TV. So if we have those two situations, not on the mound, because I don't want to hear anybody in my ear talking about why I threw a slider when I should have threw a fastball. And then if I don't have to talk to people after I give up a run, that would be ideal.
Hey, Kyle, what were you thinking on that pitch? before I let you go, first of all, I do have to congratulate you because I think this is the first time we've talked since you became the 2019 Roberto Clemente nominee for the Minnesota Twins last year.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're a man of the people, Gibby, and that's very charitable with your time. I'll ask you this on the way out the door. I was looking at your new teammates. First of all, the Rangers, you guys are like low key put together one hell of a roster for this year, just with everyone. You got the Todd father at third. You've got all the pieces in Joey Gallo and the Elvis Andrus, like all those guys. Like obviously, like offensively, you guys are good. Put together a fantastic pitching staff. I got to ask you this though: you're kind of the new guy in town. Obviously, you haven't even played an actual game with the Rangers yet. Are you comfortable with the guys to where you can kind of start to rib them a little bit, or are you still are you like that kid like sitting at the end of the cafeteria lunch table, hoping someone talks to you first?
A little bit of both. In different situations. I am kind of on the side of when somebody decides to take a shot at you, that makes them fair game. So I didn't really know Jesse Chavez too well, but he was very quick, and I would assume Lance Lynn kind of put him up to this, but he was very quick to find other Gibsons that were way more famous than I am and start to call me by their names. So
which ones? What other
first?
Like, did he hit you
one
with
of the
Charles
first
Gibson?
days?
The old
No,
host of
I
Good
haven't
Morning
got Charles
America?
yet. Just one day we were on the field or can't remember where we were, but I hear, "Hey Kirk, what do you think about that?" And I just like ignored it, right? I didn't know anybody was talking to me. He's like, "No, Kirk, I'm talking to you." I'm like, "Who?" Look around, he's like, "Gibby, Kirk Gibson." I go, "Oh, okay, got it." The next day it was, "Hey, good morning, Mel. How are you doing?" Like, okay, all right, now I see the trend. Okay. So I really don't know where Debbie Gibson came from, but he called me Debbie half the time. So I gotta still Google Debbie Gibson and figure out why that's relevant. But
singer, maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
Maybe, I have no idea. But he's one guy that we went back and forth quite a bit. Even though I didn't really know him, but that's kind of how I look at it, man. You got to be able to lot what you got. Who's Debbie Gibson?
Debbie Gibson, American singer, songwriter, record producer, and actress.
So he was just Googling Gibsons. That's so typical.
There's no chance she knew. I guess she was in. Is she an '80s singer? I guess '90s, '80s.
Perfect.
Anyway, yeah. So there you go, Debbie. What's your favorite Mel Gibson movie? Before I let you go.
The Patriot.
And that's why I love you, Kyle Gibson. Gosh, aim small, miss small. That's why you're the best. Hey, Gibby, dude, thanks so much for doing this, man. You're honestly the best, and wish you nothing but the best this season. Everyone follow him on Instagram because he just signed up for it to do this.
Hey, hold on. I saw somebody join a little bit ago. Brace Hemmelgarn. Hey, Bruce, are you still here, man? If Bruce is still here, I want to say hello to him. He was the photographer up in Minnesota, and that guy's a stud.
Bruce.
Brace Hemmelgarn, he joined a little bit ago. He probably dumped it once he realized that it wasn't going to be that interesting.
Is it? Once he was like, "Oh, it's just Gibby."
Oh, it's just Gibby. No,
it's like, it's Gibby with some sports blog. Okay, cool.
That's right.
What awesome. Wait, what was his name? Bruce or Brace?
Well, it's Brace, but we called him Bruce. Just like you mix up names on purpose. But Brace Hemmelgarn. Yeah, he joined a little bit ago. I don't know if he's still on there, but Bruce, good to see you, man.
Look at it. Look, for a guy, he even makes friends with the photographers. That's why we love him.
Hey, he's the man. He's the man.
Hey, Gibby, good luck this season. If I don't talk to you before the season starts, hopefully I don't, because that means the season starts pretty soon. Best of luck. Go kill it. Win a Cy Young, okay?
Thank you.
And credit it to this interview that you did. Like, she's like, yeah, I really wasn't feeling my game until I signed up for Instagram. And I have Korked Bats to thank for that.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, dude. Hey, you be good.
Right,
and I don't know how to sign this off, so I'll just say bye.
Yeah, sounds good. Later. Take care.
See ya.